Hi, and welcome to DIY Dylan. I'm going to show you how I made these wooden rails to hold storage bins. These rails were easy to make, moderately difficult to mount if you're by yourself, and much cheaper than similar products you can purchase online. The rails you see here were 5 feet long, and I mounted them above the garage door. I purchased all of the materials and bins at Home Depot, and this project can be fairly cheap if you already have some of the tools or materials needed. But in case you don't, here is a list of everything I personally used to get the job done. The materials are simple: plywood, 2x3s, glue, and screws. First step is to get all of your wood cut to size. These rails are going to be a little over 7 feet long and can hold 3 of the HDX bins. I had the plywood cut into 4 1-foot by 8-foot pieces before loading it into my car, and I now need to cut them down to 87 inches in length and then each piece into 2 pieces, one 4-inch wide and the other 5.5 inches wide for the top and bottom of the rails. Once everything is cut, I should have a total of 4 4-inch wide pieces and 4 5.5-inch wide pieces. The length can vary depending on where you're going to mount these or how many bins you're looking to hang. One thing I kept in mind with length was that I wanted to be able to slide bins out from either end of the rail, so I needed to make sure I had space on either end of the rails from the walls. There might be an easier way to do this, but here is how I would draw lines down the length of the plywood. While holding the pencil at the 4-inch or 5.5-inch mark, I would press the same fingers holding the pencil down onto the rafter square and then move the square down the plywood to get a straight line. This would help to ensure I got the best possible cut with my circular saw. Some details around the plywood and the 2x3s. You can go with 2x4s, but I preferred the 2x3s because I needed all of the clearance I could get. I did try 2x2s, and that was a fail because the width of the edge of the bin was too thick and I couldn't get the bin in between the 2 pieces of plywood. For the plywood, I used 15/32 width and had Home Depot cut it into more manageable pieces before loading it into my SUV. To avoid splitting the wood, I drilled pilot holes through the plywood and 2x3s every 7 inches. I would first center the 2 pieces and then clamp one end, line up the other end, and put a screw in to anchor it in place. I double-checked the center and the middle and found that my 2x3 was a little warped. I pressed the 2x3 into place before drilling my pilot holes. As far as wood glue goes, I used Titebond 3 because that's what I already had at the house. Titebond 1 is probably sufficient. Once again, I'm checking my center before I put the screws into place. don't forget to clean up the drips from the wood glue. Now sanding isn't completely necessary, but since I was making these rails for someone else, I wanted to smooth out the corners and the edges from where the bins will rub and hang on the rails, and it looks a little bit cleaner. Now we just need to attach the other piece of plywood the same exact way we did the first piece. Center, drill pilot holes, glue, and screw. Normally, I would have done all of my measurements and cuts for everything versus just the one rail. But in case you are following the video exactly, just repeat these steps 3 more times and you'll have a set of 4 rails. Let the rails sit for 24 hours to let the glue dry before mounting to your ceiling. I plan on making a part 2 to this video where I mount these rails to a garage ceiling. Be sure to subscribe for future DIY projects. Thank you for watching DIY Dylan.